Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Hunter with Rebel Outdoors, and today we're going to be talking about Milwaukee Packout.
Oh man, the lighting's wrong for full flex.
So, when you have a truck like the Moose, sometimes you gotta clear some trails. So this little Milwaukee So if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know that I love Milwaukee Packout. And I use Milwaukee Packout for a lot of different things in my truck. I do have a bunch of stuff like in my garage, but I like the Packout boxes for putting like my camping gear, kitchen stuff, things of that sort. So when I got this topper built, I wanted somewhere to put a bunch of tools and stuff, you know, for trail recovery, clearing, all that kind of fun stuff. So today we're going to be getting into kind of why I did what I did in my little recovery side of my topper. So over on the driver's side is kind of like the recovery cubby, I call it, and it is lockable. So 90% of the time, unless I'm like out and about on the trail or something, I do have these locked. But the seal does work pretty well on here, and there's some struts to kind of keep us up here. But you can kind of see I've attached a Packout mounting wall to the inside of this cubby. So with running a bunch of the battery powered stuff, I figured, hey, I should probably mount a charger in here. So I did mount one of these little rapid chargers in here for the M12, which is utilized by the little hatchet here and by the impact driver. And then of course we do have an M18 series, which is used for my impact and the big chainsaw, also my compressor, things of that sort. So they just kind of run down here, and then I do have a hookup kind of right here on the underside of this that while I'm driving around it will charge things. So that's kind of what I have that plugged into. And then over here you can see I do have some shop towels, and of course if you're out on the trail doing stuff or just cooking or whatever, it's always nice to have those. I have this little slot open because I really wish they would make a Packout thing where you can mount, instead of like just M12 or just the M18 series, kind of like a mixture of both, because I am currently running both of those systems. Now, I do know they now make a M18 series of this little hatchet up here, but I bought this before that wasn't out, so who knows, maybe in the future I'll move to that. I do have a couple of hooks over here for my impact as well as an impact driver. And this little bin is kind of just miscellaneous things, like I have battery for the hatchet up there, and then this little one for this guy here, as well as another M12 battery for the impact. And then, you know, just this little rag in here to keep them from bouncing into each other and all that good stuff. And of course, you know, you always need a rag. So these little bags right here, I have, these are just some miscellaneous sockets that I use on the impact. And then these are actually some driver sockets, but they don't fit the main stub of the driver. So these I actually use for like the impact and stuff. And of course, some thick leather gloves. These are usually used for like when I cut stuff with chainsaws. Speaking of chainsaws, this little M12 hatchet is probably the most used one. I love using this at camp to cut up firewood or cutting little stuff out on the trail that, you know, usually ends up scraping up my truck. So the way I have that mounted in here is on the inside of the topper is all of these big bars. And if you'll notice, or if they look familiar, that's because these are typically used on like roof racks, bed racks, things of that sort. So that allows me to do a little drop-in nut with a little monkey fist or quick fist, whatever you want to call it up there. I just have this kind of bungee here to make sure that this doesn't rattle back and forth. But so far it's been working pretty well for me. Then under here I do have a little set of different bits and stuff for the impact. I usually have two different ones of these that I'll carry, but this one usually stays in here because that's kind of the main one for the impact. So going over this, I think this is usually used for like pliers and things of that sort, but I have a couple hard shackles and a couple soft shackles mounted to that yeah, it works out pretty well for me. And this little kind of, I guess, deep bin we'll call it, just has a bunch of rope. And then I usually have more zip ties, but I've been trying to do some electrical stuff to the truck, so I need to refill this. Then underneath the chainsaw here is also where I keep my air down tool, as well as just a couple little tie down straps. I did put this little like rubberized flooring to kind of help things from sliding about, and it actually has been holding pretty well. And then this next one is just a bunch of different size wrenches and things of that sort. Underneath the big M18 chainsaw here, we have a impact set. So this has like all different kinds of impacts for the driver there. And then of course, most of my things that I would use, like my wheels and bumpers and things of that sort, are all in here. And this is kind of where I've been storing my big M18 chainsaw because, well, I don't really have any other better kind of solution for us at the time being. And besides, again, this is usually used for clearing trails or cutting up firewood at camp, things of that sort. And this little bag is just kind of different, you know, straps and snatch blocks and things of that sort. I got the little rings in here that you can use with the soft shackles, you know, just typical towing straps, connects recovery rope, all that goodness. So if you're not following the Rebel Outdoors Instagram, which I suggest you go follow, I had a big debate in here whether I wanted to do like a moly panel or like 2 pack out walls, or like a pack out wall and like a moly panel to kind of mix things up. But I've kind of been finding that just this one big size panel has been working out pretty well for me. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because the Milwaukee Packout line has a ton of different options. And for example, this is in my garage, but you can see I have all kinds of different pack out stuff in here. So with that, if like later down the line I wanted to change up some things, it'd be really easy for me to go ahead and do that. And then yes, it also kind of feeds the pack out obsession. I have been kind of thinking about doing some of these bigger panels on like the inside, well, essentially the backside of the cubby inside of the topper, for mounting like bigger things like the chainsaw and, you know, just any kind of other little kind of miscellaneous things that are more camping specific. This I kind of wanted to be like tools and recovery specific on this side over here. So that'll kind of wrap this little video up. I know it's kind of a short one, but as always, like to kind of share different things with you guys. If you guys think of any other little pack out things I should add or take away, or, you know, any other kind of ideas for things that I should carry in here, I'll be getting into that little bag over there in a separate video when I do a recovery specific video. But I thought this was a cool little thing. I don't really see a ton of. I've kind of been seeing the Milwaukee Packout stuff kind of up and coming in the overland market. So as always, like, share, subscribe, comment if you have any other kind of suggestions or concerns, or, you know, DeWalt, whatever stuff, leave it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.